So in this set of videos, we're going to take a look at spontaneous redox reactions. These are ones that generate their own electricity so they can actually act like a battery. And so they are called galvanic cells or voltaic cells. Galvanic cells are ones that create their own energy. We'll talk about the ones that require energy later on. So in order to harness the electricity from a spontaneous reaction, you have to keep the two reactions physically separate. The two half reactions, the oxidation half reaction and the reduction reaction have to be physically separated. They're only going to be connected by two things. Number one, the wire that's going to be used to deliver the electricity to whatever it is you want to power. And then something else called a salt bridge, which allows, number one, the closing of the entire circuit, but it also helps maintain electric neutrality inside each of the two half reactions. So the next slide is an example of a typical salt bridge. So let's take a look at the parts. You may want to print this slide out and write all over it so that you have the details in your book, in your notes rather. So here's the two half reactions. They are separated by two things. They are separated by a wire that is used to run whatever it is we're going to run. Right now we're just reading the voltage, but it could be a phone that's hooked up to this. It could be whatever other electronic device you have. The other connection between the two half cells is the salt bridge. So the salt bridge is filled with some sort of salt, in this case sodium nitrate, which allows the ions to migrate and maintain electric neutrality inside these two half cells. So one of these half cells is going to be oxidation. One of them is going to be reduction. In this case, zinc is going to be undergoing oxidation. Copper is undergoing reduction. We'll learn how we can predict what's going to undergo what in a few slides. But notice a couple other things. You have an electrode, which is a surface where the reaction takes place. In this case, the electrode is made out of the two metals that we are interested in. The zinc half reaction has the zinc electrode. The copper half reaction has the copper electrode. So the metal itself, the atoms in the metal, are going to be participating in the half reactions. Notice also that you have a solution containing zinc ions that complement the zinc electrode and copper ions that complement the copper electrode. We also have anions, obviously, in order to keep the solution neutral. So here's what's going to happen. Since zinc is undergoing oxidation, it's losing electrons to become zinc ions. So what's going to happen on the surface of this electrode is the zinc atom is going to become a zinc ion. The ions are going into solution, and the electrons are going to travel up through the wire. They're going to travel up through the wire to the other half reaction, which is the copper. And so on the surface of this electrode, what's happening? Copper ions are going to migrate to the surface, connect with the electrons that are coming through the wire, and create copper metal. So this electrode is actually going to be losing mass. Zinc is disappearing to zinc ions. This electrode is actually gaining mass. Copper ions are going to deposit themselves as copper metal on the surface. And then within the salt bridge, the other thing that you have happening is in order to maintain electric neutrality, these ions need to migrate. So you have copper ions leaving solution to become copper metal. So the sodium ions are going to move into this half cell to replace the lost positive charge. Because in this half cell we're actually gaining positive charge because the zinc is becoming zinc ion, we've got to deliver more negative charge here, and so the nitrate is actually going to move into this cell in order to keep that electrically neutral. So within the salt bridge, we've got cations flowing in the same direction as the electrons. We've got the anions flowing in the opposite direction as the electrons. And so you can see, if you follow the flow of negative charge, you have a cycle of negative charge. So that's how you wind up getting a battery to work. Just a look a little more closely at the two half reactions and what's going on at the surface of the electrode. You have zinc becoming zinc ions, and those electrons are going to migrate up through the wire. You have copper ions migrating to the surface of the copper electrode, and the electrons are going to combine with the copper ions to create more copper metal. So this electrode will be losing, so the electrode that's undergoing oxidation is losing mass. The electrode that's undergoing reduction is gaining mass. And this is called a spontaneous redox reaction because it happens all by itself. So this reaction is going to happen all by itself. Couple new terms, however, that you have not seen. The place where oxidation takes place is called the anode. The place where reduction takes place is called the cathode. So anode and oxidation go together, cathode and reduction go together. So oxidation always takes place at the anode. The anode loses mass. The anode loses electrons. The electrons travel from the anode to the cathode. Now, that's kind of opposite of what a battery is labeled. A battery is labeled, the cathode is labeled positive because even though electrons are traveling to it, cations are also traveling to it, and so the cations are moving towards the cathode. The anions are moving from the salt bridge, the anions are moving towards the anode. So it's not the electron flow that the battery talks about, it's actually the ion flow that you hear about the labels on the battery. Because logically you would think it the opposite. This guy is losing the electrons, it should be the positive one. This guy, sorry, that was my dog. This guy's gaining the electrons, that should be the negative one, but they don't look at it in terms of electron flow, they look at it in terms of ion flow. So the cations go towards the cathode, the anions go towards the anode. So just a little bit more review in a galvanic cell. The difference in the electron potential between the anode and cathode has a couple different names. It's called the cell voltage or the cell potential. You'll also hear it called the electromotive force, EMF. That's more of a physics term that you'll hear. It's also given the symbol E sub cell because that's talking about the whole voltage. If we were talking about just the oxidation half reaction, it would be EOX. Reduction half reaction would be ERED, reduction. So another way to show how a galvanic cell works is to diagram it. And you're going to have examples where you have to diagram or you have to interpret diagrams. So make sure you pay attention to this. So if we have a reaction like the one we've been working with, zinc losing electrons to become zinc 2+, copper gaining electrons to be copper ion gaining electrons to be copper neutral. We want to know what the concentrations are. If we are in standard conditions, the concentrations are going to be 1 molar. Harley, for crying out loud. If you have a gas that's involved, 1 atmosphere is the standard pressure. So when we talk about standard conditions for electrochemical cells, this is what we're talking about. Okay, so here is the cell diagram. So notice what we're doing. We are starting with the oxidation half reaction on the left. We're going to the reduction half reaction on the right. So the first thing you see labeled is what the actual electrode is. So the solid electrode is notated here. Then within the half cell, there's a separation of, I don't want to say state's not the right term, but so the electrode is a solid part of the cell, and then you have a different part of the cell that's a solution. So this single line means that we're still talking about within the same half cell, but we're just talking about a new situation. So in the solution, where'd my arrow go? There it is. In the solution, we have zinc ions, and we want to note that they are 1 molar, okay? So this side represents the oxidation half reaction. The double line represents, if you want to think of it as the salt bridge or whatever, but the double line represents the separation between the oxidation half reaction on the left and the reduction half reaction on the right. So the salt bridge is in direct contact with the two ion solutions, so that's why you see them towards the inside. The reduction ion solution is copper 2+, that's 1 molar, so again we want to note what its concentration is. And then the electrode, again separated by the single line, because we're still within the same half cell, but we're in a new state. So then the electrode itself is solid copper solution. Solid copper solution, solid copper metal. So double bond or double line to separate the two half reactions, single line to represent different states. And you're going to see this come up a few more times, and you'll see gases you have to show what the pressure is, and so on and so forth. So again, the anode is always written first, the cathode is written second. And so if we take a look at, now we're going to shift gears to voltage, and I think, you know what, we'll pause it here, and we'll take a look at voltage in the next slide. So you've gotten the basic idea of what a galvanic cell looks like, what the parts are. We'll take a look at the number stuff in the next slide.